What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron Soriao, known as Risk Visual Photography, also with the Standing podcast. I'm here with Stephanie Simon, out at the Sweet Science Boxing Gym in Hawthorne. Your professional debut was back in September. Give us through a general rundown how that experience was, given that was your debut. But you had an extensive amateur experience, a lot of accolades that you took with you, but transition to the pros, September. How was that feeling like?
Yeah, so the fight, my pro debut was incredible. It was on an all-female card. Alycia Baumgardner was the main event, fighting for her WBC title defense shot. And to be honest, I didn't know what to expect going in. My first ever pro fight. It's always kind of a weird feeling because in the amateurs, it's a lot different. You got big gloves, you got big headgear. You're also in a tournament with a bracket, so you kind of know who you're going to fight. At least, kind of what their style is for the most part. With this environment, it was just different. It was unique. It was also a private event too, which is interesting because usually when we think about a pro boxing fight, there's a huge crowd or audience. I didn't have a huge audience, so I could almost hear myself thinking and breathing. So that was also unique. But overall, it's a great experience. And then with my background, my amateur pedigree, I think that it's definitely given me a lot of confidence going into my pro career. I only had about 35 amateur fights, but I was able to make it on Team USA for 3 years. I won the Olympic trials in 2023, and then I won several USA Nationals and National Mountain Championships as well. So I feel that even though it's a short amount of time that I was in the amateurs, I accomplished a lot, and I really built my resume very well going into the pros.
You know what? I know you felt some jitters going into the pros, but going through your accomplishments, 5-time elite national boxing champ, 2024 Olympic trials boxing champ. That should have made it somewhat easier for you to transition. Would you agree?
Yeah, it did, and I fought some of the best females in the country, and arguably some of the best in the world. I did a lot of camps for Team USA with women from all over the world, from China, from Bulgaria, from Sweden, from New Zealand, everywhere, from Germany. And I've stepped in the ring with a variety of different styles, a variety of different heights and sizes, right? So I feel that my experience in the amateurs absolutely did give me confidence with the pros. And I would say that, to have nervousness and to be a little bit worried about the pros is a good thing because you have small gloves, right? You don't have headgear. And also, there's a puncher's chance when you have more rounds.
Right.
Something to consider in the amateurs, right? You only have 3 rounds. So it's pretty difficult to get knocked out in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And the pros, the more rounds you have, the more of a chance and opportunity that your opponent has, not just yourself. So you really have to be more smart. You have to have a better tactical understanding of boxing. And like I said before, it's more of the game of chess than checkers in the pro game. So that's really where my focus is right now in my career is having consciousness in the ring and actually thinking and strategizing in the ring in real time, if that makes sense.
In women's boxing, there's still that ongoing issue with the rounds, right? It's still shorter compared to men's, and you're doing all this training, all the techniques, but you're training, but for such a short amount of round time.
Yeah.
You would want to wish that it would be standardized, male or female, because all that stuff, most likely you're not going to employ it in the ring because you're trying to win the round, most importantly, and you don't want to overthink it, and that's going to impact the result of the fight.
Yeah, we look at the MMA model, right? Not just UFC, but MMA as a whole. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. The standard professional round is 5 minutes, and it's 3 5-minute for a standard fight. Now for championship, it's 5 5-minute rounds. But if you look at the UFC and MMA and Bellator and PFL, women are fighting the same amount as men, and no one's complaining about it. So that's why I think it's a little strange in a sport that is, as developed as boxing, it's been around for so many years that we haven't adopted that same structure as well. I think eventually we will see it more, and there are women that are actually fighting now 3-minute rounds. So I know in the last MVP card, there was a fighter, she was Olympian, she fought her debut, she did 4 3-minute rounds. She wasn't the first, there's been others as well. So I proof that it's possible, and I think that'll be the next evolution for women's boxing, and that kind of standard. Because at the end of the day, at 2 minutes of a round, that's when people, their true colors come out. The dog in them, as you can say, their spirit comes out at the end of the round when they're tired. That's when you start to see what someone's made out of, and now we're seeing it cut off, right? Women, it's 2 minutes is up, that's it. That's really when the momentum starts to kick in. I feel that that's where the fight and the round gets exciting. Exciting is at 2 minutes. So I'm looking forward to eventually seeing fighting over the injury.
I guess, in your opinion, women's boxing in general, it's made some strides, but do you feel that there's still more to accomplish? How far away are we, in your view, of becoming that standard as far as fairness between both genders?
Yeah, we got a while. I mean, I know Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, they were paid around $6 million, $7 million in that fight. In September, I was there in Texas, the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. I believe Jake Paul, Mike Tyson made at least $20 million. So we have room to grow. We have a ways to go. But I think one of the biggest things that we could do is figure out a way to target the right audience.
Yep.
If women can't get men to watch, which they can, I mean, we've seen it before in other sports, other combat sports, then we need to start to get women to watch more.
Right.
Which is not the easiest thing, right? Because not every woman wants to watch people get punched in the face. The thing is if you can make someone a fan of the person that is wearing the glove, the person behind the facade of being a crazy fighter, once you fall in love with a person, you become a fan of the human first. That's when you don't care what they do, whether they box, they sing, they do YouTube, you want to see whatever it is they're doing. And one thing about Jake Paul that he did a very good job of in his career so far is making people a fan of him. And he's able to do whatever it is he wants to do and people want to watch and tune in. That's what we need to do with women's boxing. We need to get people to see us as people first and then as fighters second, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, you're fighting this next Saturday, Commerce Casino. U.S. Marine Corps Captain Stephanie Simon. Always a pleasure. We're very much excited to have you on our podcast, the Standing A podcast. But thank you for having time to get a an introduction to our audience, and we're very much looking forward you back in action next Saturday, Commerce Casino. There you have it.
Thank you so much, y'all. Have a good one. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you.